Time is of the essence. We must assist our allies.
Another East versus West, folks. So, perhaps we could continue forward with Shohei Kondo's video.
Both Ubisoft Tokyo and Ubisoft Osaka were involved in the game at some point. I don't have a precise list of their contributions, but I know they were mostly responsible for marketing, promotion, some research, and cultural accuracy efforts.
Sounds like they're not in really core, right? And I believe mostly marketing.
However, I have no specific information on how cultural accuracy was handled. Both studios are relatively small in terms of manpower and do not have as many developers as most other Ubisoft studios. Additionally, I know for a fact that a large number of their employees are expats rather than Japanese. It doesn't surprise me that, despite this episode being set in Japan, there was no large-scale recruitment process to expand these studios' roles in the game. When AC had an episode set in France, very few Ubisoft French studios were involved or consulted for accuracy.
So for this also I can take as like they're saying, the Unity, we didn't have a lot of French people to work on historical accuracy. But at the same time, I can tell when they mention about, they said, despite of this game is set in Japan, there is no large scale recruitment process to expand studios, the roles in the game. This part also, to me, sounds like they're complaining or criticizing why they didn't do that. Like it should have done. Even it's not Japanese, they should spend more money to do historical accurate. I can read this message from this way too.
Lastly, Ubisoft Osaka was unfortunately shut down in early 2024 as part of a larger downsizing event that affected both studios, which had worked on the free-to-play game Defiant, a commercial failure. From what I know, this does not appear to be related to Assassin's Creed.
Meaning, Ubisoft Tokyo or Osaka, it's not really involved, except marketing. Alright, next question. That's something I really wanted to hear. And this is most frustrating part of this game, and it's new. Why there is unarmed NPCs that you can kill, like a level 1 NPCs in Assassin's Creed Shadow.
To address this, I'll need to explain how NPCs work in video games. Many games use something called crowd station to handle civilians. These are essentially NPCs not connected to standard AI behaviors, like a merchant near his shop or a character chopping wood near a tree. They are not designed to react to the player's behavior because the designers have no need for them to. They serve a simple function, such as creating a fake sense of life in a tavern or selling items to players. Adding a fully interactive, combat-ready AI to those NPCs comes at an extra cost. Ghost of Tsushima, for example, has only very basic civilian NPCs who, apart from a few scripted cases, don't intervene in stealth sequences, mostly quest givers and vendors. This works for them because in their version of Japan, all locations are under Mongol occupation, and civilians are either gone, hiding, captured, or would welcome your violence and not alert the enemies. Few games invest in this. Assassin's Creed has historically been a pioneer in this field. A core feature of AC is social stealth. Like in the Hitman series, the ability to blend into crowds, use civilians as cover, and avoid detection in some situations. For this system to work, NPCs must react to crimes, and some design solutions to neutralize them are needed. Since the first installment, the series has enforced consequences for killing civilians. After 3 kills, you are forced to reload to the last checkpoint. Remember, you also have the option to strangle them to sleep instead.
Again, I'm also going to link my first channel on the top because I did make a video on this one. In case if you guys wondering what happened to the red-haired horse starved to death. Yes, every horse like the red hair have ability to run or to ride far, but the one thing nobody can even get away is hunger. This is something every military has trained. Without food, I know some soldiers can last way longer, say days, months. Whether you like it or not, you have to have food in your system so that you can fight properly. Horse, yes, you need to feed. Let's check how many times you need to feed a horse. Now I will link Shohei Kondo's video down in the description, okay? Horses need it at least twice a day. They should not go more than 4 hours between meals. What about a soldier? Now here it is. I'm using Google, okay? It could be inaccurate at some point. Typically, a soldier needs 3 times a day, which is true. Standard military feeding practice in most countries. Now, let's see this one. Now, experts believe it is possible the human body will survive without food up to 2 months. All right, let's see a horse. Looks like they can last to 5 days. Now, I know it's not relevant, okay? But sometimes this is what happens. This is accurate. What happened to the red hair? Because starvation. Now, the East, when it comes to historical content or historical figures, some of them are completely true. It happens, although the characters, like say in World War II, which I'm gonna be making another video, they're probably different. Because don't forget, these are back in the past, so records basically exist, but, well, exist or non-exist, it depends on who you ask. But for ancient China as well, there are some kept records, but not all of them have kept it. Like, for example, Guan Yu. There was no mention of his physical appearance. And same goes for Sun Shangzhang. It says her death is unknown. Nobody knows what happened to her. Assuming she lived through the Three Kingdoms. Assuming. Battle of the Red Cliff, Chi Bi in Dynasty Warriors, that's a real battle, okay? Now, if you use Wu, you get the chance to beat Cai Mao. It does happen, okay? For the West, well, they used to have historical accuracy, like Saving Private Ryan. What else? Band of Brothers, Tuskegee Airmen, Pearl Harbor. Although weapons are still questionable for every pilots, don't get me wrong, because it's Hollywood. What do we have to expect? In conclusion, I think both East and West, when it comes to historical figures, they could get 50-50. Records of them, some are kept, some are not kept. It depends on where you go. Like, for example, if someone who lives as a Czechoslovakia, don't forget, Czechoslovakia was split. It was under the Iron Curtain. There's not much about the exiled Poles from the West, most of them from the East. We all know that some of them survive and some of them live in Britain or Canada. Many of them who returned to Poland found themselves captured or being put in concentration camps under the Iron Curtains. So for accuracy, well, it will be 50-50. Weapons, again, like I said, depends on what is happening. Like if you take, for example, Assassin's Creed Shadows, well, muskets is work. There is musket during that feudal Japan. It was the first one, not the brown bess. Other things like watermelon, that's inaccurate according to what I've heard. Now for Guardian of Peace in Dynasty Warrior Origin, I'm not certain for myself. I need to check. I've been trying to look for it, but maybe that Guardian of Peace is most likely a fictional, which probably new for me. But at least most of the characters there, they're at least accurate. Dong Zhuo, well, the way he's portrayal, that is pretty much, I could say, accurate. Lu Bu, even though his power is overpowered, but in reality, he's supposed to that because he is considered the greatest pierce before Zhao Yun, Zhao Zilong. And the assassination of Dong Zhuo by Lu Bu, that happens, although it is unclear how it happens.
So the enemy has proposed that you defect. In that case, perhaps we should use their desire to recruit you against them by planting you within their army. Gain their trust, and before long, we will give the signal for you to destroy their ranks and resolve from within.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, theories, or future prediction, or just want to see me play games. Visit my first and third channel up here or link in the description.